If you typed alternative to disruptive advertising into a search bar, I can probably guess your situation. You're a smaller Shopify brand. You looked at a big, well known agency, maybe you even had a call with one, and you walked away with a feeling. The feeling that you might be too small for them, or that the price didn't match where your business is right now. That's a real and common thing, and it's worth thinking through clearly instead of just bouncing to the next name on a list. This is an honest breakdown of who Disruptive is genuinely a great fit for, because they are a strong agency, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Why a small brand often needs something structurally different, and what to actually look for in an alternative, so you pick the right kind of partner for your size instead of just a smaller version of the same mismatch. If we haven't met already, I am the digital avatar of Steve, the founder of e-commerce agency Working Digital. While he is helping Shopify brands scale with I am here to keep you up to date with the latest AI strategies for e-commerce. Steve reads every comment, so make sure to drop one below. I'm going to be fair about this the whole way through, because the goal isn't to talk you out of a good agency. It's to help you understand fit, which is the thing that actually determines whether an agency relationship works for a business your size. Let me start by giving Disruptive their due, because they've earned it. Disruptive Advertising is a real, reputable, award-winning agency based in Linden, Utah. They've scaled to several hundred employees. They offer genuinely full-service marketing, paid media across Google and Meta, SEO, lifecycle marketing, creative, and analytics. They manage tens of millions of dollars in ad spend, and they have a long track record and strong public reviews. This is not a fly-by-night operation. And here's who they're a great fit for: mid-market and enterprise brands. Public reviews and agency comparisons consistently point to the same thing, that you get the most value from a large agency like this once you're spending somewhere around $50,000 a month or more on ads. At that level, you're a meaningful account, you get senior attention, and you benefit from the depth of a big team and years of accumulated data across a lot of accounts. If that's you, a big established agency might be exactly right, and you should take them seriously. The scale, the systems, and the breadth are real advantages when your business is big enough to use them. So this isn't big agency bad, it's the opposite. They're good at what they're built for. The question is whether what they're built for is what you need right now. And for a lot of small Shopify brands, the honest answer is no. Let me explain why. Here's where size creates a structural mismatch. And this is true of most large agencies, not just this one. The first issue is attention. A big agency has hundreds of clients. When you're a small account in a large book of business, you're usually not getting the founder or the senior strategist on your account day to day. You get a junior account manager and a process. That process is fine for a big brand that needs coordination across a huge spend. For a small brand that needs sharp, senior thinking on a tight budget, it's often not enough. The second issue is the pricing model. Large agencies commonly charge a percentage of your ad spend, often somewhere in the range of 10 to 20%, sometimes with a minimum fee floor. Think about what that incentivizes. The agency makes more money when you spend more money. For a big brand scaling aggressively, that can be fine. For a small brand whose entire goal is to be profitable, not just to spend more, that incentive points the wrong direction. You want a partner who makes money when you make money, not when you spend more. The third issue is the minimum itself. If an agency does its best work at $50,000 a month in spend and you're spending 5 or 10, you're below the line where their model is built to serve you well. You can still be a client. You just might not be a priority, and you might be paying for overhead built for much larger accounts. Again, none of this makes a big agency bad. It makes them sized for a different business. A small brand hiring a big agency is a bit like a startup hiring a law firm built for the Fortune 500. The firm is excellent. It's just not built for you, and you'll feel that. So if a big agency isn't the fit, what should a small Shopify brand actually look for? Four things. First, senior people doing the actual work. At your scale, you don't need a big team and layers of account management. You need a few sharp, experienced people who are genuinely good and who actually touch your account. Ask directly, who specifically will be working on my business and how senior are they? The answer matters more than the size of the agency. Second, coordination instead of silos. A small brand can't afford to leak profit between an ads vendor, an email tool, and a separate CRO effort that don't talk to each other. You want a partner who runs your ads, your email, and your conversion as one connected system, accountable for your blended profit, not one channel in isolation. I went deep on why that matters in an earlier video, and it matters most for small brands because you have the least margin to waste in the gaps. Third, aligned pricing. Look for a model that isn't designed to push you to spend more. You want a partner whose incentive is your profitability, not your ad budget. Ask how they're paid and what happens to their fee if your spend goes up. The answer tells you which direction their incentive points. Fourth, and this is new, look for someone who can get you into AI shopping. The legacy agencies are mostly still running the 2020 playbook. The brands that show up in ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's AI results are building an advantage right now, and most traditional ad agencies aren't set up to help with that yet. A modern alternative should be able to. Those four things, senior attention, coordination, aligned pricing, and AI readiness, are what actually serve a small brand. Notice that none of them are about being big. Let me go deeper on the two of those four that matter most right now, because they're where a small, modern shop can genuinely outperform a big legacy agency for a brand your size. The first is full funnel coordination. A big agency is often organized by channel: a paid team, a separate creative team, a separate lifecycle team, meeting on a call. For an enterprise brand, that division of labor makes sense. For a small brand, it's exactly the fragmentation that leaks money. When the same small senior team runs your ads, watches your site convert that traffic, and builds the email that makes each customer worth more, the whole machine gets tuned together. That coordination is easier to do well at small scale than at enterprise scale, which is an advantage a boutique actually has over a giant. The second is AI commerce, and this is the real opening. AI shopping is a new channel. Shopping is moving into ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google's AI results. And most established agencies, including a lot of big ones, haven't built the capability to optimize for it. They're still selling the same paid and SEO services they sold 5 years ago. A modern partner can get your product feed, your structured data, your reviews, and your offsite presence set up so AI engines actually recommend you. That's a lead your competitors mostly don't have yet, and the agency that can deliver it is, almost by definition, not the one running the legacy playbook. So the edge for a small brand isn't "we're cheaper than disruptive." It's "we're built for your size, we coordinate the whole funnel instead of siloing it, and we can put you in the AI channels the big legacy shops haven't figured out yet." That's a real, honest difference, not a price war. There's one more thing I'd weigh if I were a small brand choosing a partner, and it's whether the people running it have actually run a store. I'll be direct about my own bias here. I didn't come up through the agency world. I built a Shopify brand and ran it as the operator, grew it to 10 million a year with a peak month of over $200,000 in meta spend. So when I look at a small brand's account, I'm not seeing a set of campaigns to manage. I'm seeing a P&L because I've had to make payroll off one. That operator lens changes the advice. An agency that's only ever managed channels tends to optimize channels. Someone who's run the whole business tends to ask whether the spend is actually making money, whether the offer is right, whether the bottleneck is even in the ad account. For a small brand where every dollar counts, that's the difference between a vendor pushing buttons and a partner protecting your profit. You don't need a giant agency for that. You need a few people who've actually been responsible for a business like yours. So when you evaluate any alternative, big or small, ask whether the people on your account have ever owned the whole number themselves. It tells you how they'll think about your money. So let me bring this back to a simple decision, fairly. If you're spending $50,000 a month or more, you're scaling fast, and you need breadth across a lot of channels and a big team to coordinate it. A large established agency like Disruptive may genuinely be your best move. Take them seriously. They're good at that. If you're a smaller Shopify brand, spending less than that, watching every dollar, and you need senior attention, a coordinated funnel, aligned incentives, and a path into AI shopping, then a smaller, modern, operator-led shop is probably the better fit. Not because the big agency is bad, but because you're a different size of business with different needs. The worst outcome is picking an agency based on how famous it is instead of how well it fits your size. A great agency that's wrong for your scale will still be wrong for your scale. If you want a clear, honest read on where your store actually stands across your ads, your conversion, your email, and your AI visibility before you hire anyone, that's what our free audit is for. No spend minimum to get it. Links in the description. In the next video, we tackle the question directly underneath this one: boutique versus big agency for a $1 to $5 million Shopify brand, and how to know which side of that line you're really on.